Hey, Instagram, this is me, really Robin. So, I thought January 1st would be the day that I would actually start trying to do some video blogs and whatever. Just trying to keep up with things or what have you. So, I'm going to give this a try. Um, and it's really not to force an opinion or anything on anybody, it's just really my views or my opinions. Um, and I mean, people are free to comment and say whatever they think about it, that's fine. I just want people to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to convince anybody because anything that I'm saying, you're actually welcome to look it up. Uh, so I've written down some things, and the first thing that bothered me was today was the day that there was a law passed in California about black people's hair, which I thought was, it's unbelievable that we as black people, this is 2020, and we are still begging for and asking for some type of acknowledgement or equality, or look at us, we should, instead of like, you know this foolishness that everybody is the same and human beings or whatever. Why would we need a law that we should be able to wear our hair natural? I mean, that makes no sense, because there's no other race that has a problem with wearing their hair natural. Nobody, there's no problem. Nobody's offended or whatever the deal is. And for anybody who's a person of color or a black person who does not see this as a problem, you actually have a problem. Excuse me. Now, had back in the day when we were to ourselves segregated, I believe that just like now, people are divided about different things. I think that they had a majority of people of color who were not really wanting to go along with integration or whatnot. And I think now I could understand why. But also, when we were living to ourselves and we were doing business with ourselves and we owned our own things, our own land, our own property, and whatnot or whatever, um, that was a problem because we created or built our own things, and if it looked like we gained or got more than what they got, then there came, Rosewood and Tulsa riot or whatever. When black people are off to themselves and thriving, it still bothers them. And I don't think, I need to elaborate on who they are. So it's like you want to live in peace, you want to not be bothered with certain things, but yet you can't do it because of their strong urge to be dominant. No matter whether you want to be off to yourself and you don't want to, which I think you should have a right to, if you don't want to mingle or socialize or be a part of or deal with certain people, that should be your right. It should not make you a bad person. You should not be stigmatized for it or whatever, whatever. Especially since the people that you choose not to be bothered with have a history of lynching, raping, and all kind of savagery. In some kind of way, media wise, they have you thinking you're the bad person. You're the savage. You're the people who, we can't trust you or whatever. Now, personally, I, and this is just me, I look at European people as they are, as what they're the ones who put it in the history books that they didn't have a problem with killing and maiming and raping people and slavery, selling people off from their families or whatever, and they wonder why to this day families, black people, have dysfunctional families because of, and it does stem back to slavery. There's That's what it is, and there's no need to call it an excuse. There's no need to say it's a crutch or it's a reason or whatever the deal is, because people, especially people of color, who go around saying, "Well, look, that makes no sense. That's just an excuse. That's whatever." You're just coming up with anything. Technically, it's the facts, because when did we ever, after 400 plus and ongoing, bouts of slavery, just in different levels. It's in different forms now, but still, today, police are still lynching black men, black people, period. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're not being strung up in a tree, but you're actually being killed in your house, in your car, you name it, you're being killed. So that's like a modern day lynching to me. Um, if the people who want to be so dominant are the ones who actually putting laws on the books, and there's no black people that have that kind of power to put some laws on the books for them, and to my understanding, Dr. Claude Anderson uh, made reference to a second amendment or a second constitution that was to give black people their 40 acres and a mule. That was supposed to give us what we were supposed to have. And it got stricken down, or, like everything else, taken off the table. And this country has a track record of reneging. We're going to honor this, we're going to honor that, and then when it doesn't suit them, or if it's going to make you equal to them, or you're going to have more than what they have, or if they see you have the potential of, outpacing them, we're not going to do it. We're not going to honor it. And so, me personally, like I think every other black person, you should kind of be tired of that. That's just what it is. I think you should be tired of that. So I redirect myself back to, that's completely ludicrous that there's a law that has to be put on the books that you can't be fired or whatever because as a person of color your natural hair, or if you choose to wear your hair natural in the afro braids or locks, somebody has a problem and they can actually fire you from your job. That makes no sense whatsoever. So if black people are not bothered by that, that's y'all business. Um, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was the Botham Jean thing, or Botham John, or Botham Jean, however the thing goes. Personally, and this is me, no one, and I don't care what race you are, has a right to lay hands, hurt, or harm my child or children if they're not causing you any problems, they are not trying to harm, hurt, or kill you. You don't have a right, because once you do, then all hell gonna break loose. I will be the judge, jury, and everything else when I find out what happened and why you felt the need to take my child's life. Now, moving on to this, I don't know why repeatedly black people keep thinking we're going to get some kind of justice, not realizing, like everything else, every other law on the books was not placed there by someone of color. It was placed there by someone of European descent. It was placed there to work against you, person of color. So if that was its origin, that is still doing its job to this day. Why do we keep looking for justice? I don't know. Makes no sense. If you see the statue of the justice and the scales and whatever, well, she not supposed to be able to tell who the person is or whatever, which is a lie. If justice is blind, then uh, I'm not actually black, which we know that's not true. So if justice is not blind, black people would have a better outcome a lot of times, just on a normal, regular basis, which they don't. Normally, regularly, we're the criminals and we're always locked up, and we're the ones filling up the prison system. So there, that just straightforward answers the justice situation. But I digress. I go back to this point. If you are crying and praying for the white lady, and oh Lord, and I know you didn't mean it, and all of this foolishness, and you want to hug her, and you feel so sorry for her, which I would kind of question, how much did you love your brother? Because I love my brother. And my brother actually was killed by another person of color. I'm not going to sit and tell that person that I forgive him because I actually met with him. And no, I don't. Um, I let him know what type of devastation he caused my family for doing such a thing. Um, do I think he should be out on the streets or whatever? No, I don't. I think what which they gave him uh, for killing two people, mind you, 46 years concurrently, just off the cuff. He didn't have a criminal record or not, whatever. But this lady, who was an officer of the law, was she supposed to know rules and laws of law enforcement better than the average citizen? And she only got 10 years. And she's not supposed to be held as responsible as the person who killed my brother and my sister-in-law? That just does not make sense. But we all know she got a lighter sentence because she was white. But again, let me get back to the point. When you're hugging and crying and, oh Lord, this woman, and we know she didn't mean it, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Because if she didn't mean it, aren't officers also armed with tasers, a billy club, what have you? If you thought somebody was in your house, why didn't you back out of the house, call for the person to show themselves, call for backup? There was so many other things she could have done other than shoot this man. Whether she thought she was in a house, I wouldn't give a damn if you thought she was in church. There's certain protocol and procedures, and I don't understand that. But again, my point being, the brother's crying on the stand. Oh Lord, I want to hug her, and you feel so sorry for this woman. The judge comes off the bench, and which I really would like to know, how often has she done that? Have you done that to defendants or people who were black? Did you come down and hug them and you feel sorry for them and gave them a Bible? Probably not. And then you have the dad at church, and I really would like to be friends with her. You sound like a damn fool. But here's the silver lining, or here's the thunderstorm for you people. Because y'all felt so sorry and wanted to hug and all of this stuff, and the bailiff fixing her hand, that dumbass foolishness. Well, the city of Dallas was watching. So when you ask them for money, certainly you're not asking us to pay you money for her killing your son or your brother. Of course you're not. Couldn't be. Not the lady you hugged in court and you did your good Christian upstanding thing. Well, guess what? Find your Christian belief and faith like you did when for the trial, the murder trial, and guess what? Use that towards the city of Dallas. Go ahead on and live with your faith and let Jesus tell you and all of this stuff, and you will not be getting any money, a dime, because you was too forgiving. That's anybody would sit there and think that. Oh, well, you forgave. Well, what the hell you want me to do? You really want me to pay you for something somebody else did? Now you want to hold me accountable, but you hug them and cry with them, and oh, you want to be their friends. Well, you need to cry and want to be the city of Dallas friends. Can't fault them for that. Hell, I'll probably look at you the same way. I thought that was the craziest shit ever. And so, yeah, y'all will not be seeing a dime. And somebody fault with y'all's. All right, next. White people. In 2020, white people, I'm going to need y'all to calm down. You see that calling on black people and look what they're doing and this and whatever. This should be the year that black people need to start calling on white folks. Let me explain why. Because if you open up any good old history book that they keep giving you to look at, were they not the ones that saw fit to go lynching black folks just because you was black walking down the street? They just want, hey, nobody stopped you and asked you, well, do you have a family? And without, nobody asked all them questions. There's pictures, years of pictures of lynching, setting black men on fire, castrating them, cutting pregnant women's stomachs open, raping the man, the woman, the child, all of that. History of that. And y'all have the nerves to call and we need these people? No, no, no. We're not doing that this year. This year, you will be called on because you have a history and a pattern that anybody could pick up. Google, find group of white people standing under a tree of hanging Negroes. They're with their children, babies. They're smiling, they're pointing. This is after church, no doubt, which really, in a whole nother segment, we'll talk about that. I don't even understand why a bunch of black people just knocking themselves down every Sunday to go to church, an institution that they made. They didn't even want you to go there in the first place. And it was only used strategically to make you docile and to make you go along and conform with what they were doing. The best trick that slavery and white people pulled on black people was to get in your head and to make you think that after all of that damage, degradation, and debauchery that they done against our people, that some kind of way we should sing kumbaya and just forgive them or whatever. Because keep in mind, they never asked for forgiveness in the first place. Now, how do you have the nerve to be offended and upset and that a black person is talking about what you all actually did? I'm appalled. I'm actually taken aback. Y'all have a lot of nerve. Really. I mean, seriously. You have a plain open history of doing some of the worst bullshit. And y'all have the nerves to still, you just won't let up. Slavery is still going on. And from all of that hurt, pain, and separation of families and selling people into slavery and all of this pillaging and raping and stealing and all of the negative things y'all have done. How is it that you honestly have a nerve with a straight face to feel some kind of way if a black person is angry, doesn't want to be bothered with you? If you have a history, I have a right to feel negatively about being around you, to wanting to be in your presence. I have a right, actually. And if you want to feel uncomfortable just from hearing that, then you have the problem. I don't. I should not feel afraid or upset because I'm telling you about your history. You can't lie. I'm not lying on you. So why would you be upset when it's the truth? Try fixing it. Don't deny it. Fix it. Yes, I would like my 40 acres tax-free. I don't necessarily need a mule, but I would like a horse. And yes, reparations are in order. Because it's mighty funny when you put the Japanese people in internment camps here. Nobody had a problem with figuring out an amount to give each family member or what have you. That was not a problem. But when it comes to black people, oh my God, we have to figure out if you're really black. We have to figure out how we're going to do that. And it's going to break the bank and all this kind of nonsense and bullshit of fuckery. We constantly have to hear, oh, but you got to wait and you have to be reasonable and you have to be whatever. No. Reason goes out of the door. Slavery it actually happened. Our ancestors really experienced that. They have so much that we still don't know because they've covered it up. You don't think you need to pay the people that you went and stole them from a whole nother country. You took everything that they knew. That means their language, their belief system, their clothing. You told them that they couldn't be them. We're bringing you somewhere new and we're going to transform you to be what we want you to be. So we have no identity. And y'all don't think that needs to be compensated? We didn't even have therapy for slavery. So you want people to go through 400 plus years in ongoing foolishness, mental anguish that has never been, there's no therapy that's been offered. So you know what? When black people or people of color have mental illness, a lot of it is what Dr. Joy DeGroot says post-traumatic slave syndrome. And it is. So yes, a lot of us have mental illness. I'm willing to bet almost 100% of people of color have mental illness. A great bit of it is due to European people. There is no therapy for that. Nobody's, you don't even want to talk about slavery, let alone heal from it. You don't want to do anything that's going to be helpful in putting people of color on track. Now, I don't need a white person to give me therapy. I don't. Because you couldn't possibly. Y'all were the ones who caused the trauma. So I wouldn't be looking to you for therapy of any kind. But you did make money off of my ancestors. So you damn sure owe me. I, as a person of color, I shouldn't give a flying fuck about credit because I'm black. I should automatically be able to get whatever the hell I so choose to put my mind to, or point my finger and say, yeah, I would like that. Why not? Because if you think about it, in slavery, y'all pointed to whatever nigger you wanted, and you got what you wanted, a whole human being, which back then we were not counted as such. So y'all were able to pull some things off for historically for years. But if we talk about, well, hey, let's do that. Oh, that sounds crazy. And how you really think this is going to... Why not? Historically, Europeans pulled it off. To this day, some of them are still pulling it off. So why? Why is that crazy? Yes, I do believe as a person of color, I'm entitled to whatever the hell I see fit to want to get or have. If there was a period of several centuries of this happening via white people, y'all stole what y'all wanted, pointed to and said, oh, that look good, I think I'll take that. Nobody couldn't tell you no. So why is it far-fetched if a person of color feels this way now? Okay, moving on. Black people. My God, I love my people. I love us to death. We're so creative. We're so inventive. We do so much. Except love each other. At the end of the day, a lot of people are mentally and emotionally fucked up because of post-traumatic slave disorder. We don't know how to treat each other. We don't know how to be loving to each other. But we can learn. It's never too late to learn. We can't do a damn thing without each other. That's first and foremost. Say that with me. We can't do anything without each other. So if I'm down and you're up, there's nothing wrong with you reaching back to help me to come up. Because when you help me to come up, then I have to reach back. I'm obligated to reach back and help and pull somebody else up. That's how we need to do. Unify. We have to help each other. We don't need the help of anybody outside of our race. We need to help each other. Yes, there's a difference between black people and other people. The one word and the one signifying reason is called melanin. If you were not born with melanin, you are not black. Melanin, unbeknownst to a lot of black people, is the most sought after mineral vitamin, whatever you want to call it, it is the most sought after thing that people of non-color are really after. It is all throughout, it's found throughout the body of a person of color. Melanin is also known as living light. So in us, darkness is never bad. It's only light. But when you have someone controlling your mind, you're going to think worse or bad about yourself and other people who look like you. We have to start believing and trusting that we were robbed mentally, emotionally, physically. We've been through so much. It's time to heal now. It is time to get us together. And we cannot do it with the ongoing foolishness that we've been doing for so long. You have no business hating, fighting, killing, or anything negative towards a person who looks just like you. And I mean a person of color. If being humans and everybody's the same or whatever, that was the case, then we wouldn't be experiencing what we've been experiencing for so many centuries. So that is a lie, and you can try to tell yourself there's no difference. That's a lie. When you can go to, there's nothing wrong with us being off to ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me give you a perfect example why you shouldn't feel bad if you say you want to be around your own people. When you go to Chinatown, you see any corner stores selling liquor and all that stuff up in there? You don't. You only see that in black people's neighborhood. You don't see that in ours. I mean, you don't see that in theirs. It's only in ours. So we need to figure all of that out. We need to figure out that people in China, in Chinatown, when they come to whatever city, state, and town, wherever you go to a Chinatown, you are going to find Chinese people. You will not find a black corner store. I don't even know if you're going to find an Arab in the corner store. All of their stuff is self-contained. Their dollars stay in their neighborhood and where they live. It does not go somewhere else. It's not a hard formula. We need to figure it out, and we need to be self-sufficient. Once we get that in our head, that, well, we know people who are capable of owning stores. We know people who are capable of farming and raising animals and growing fruit and vegetables and all of that different kind of stuff. They're no different from us. Why do we have to go to these other people? And then they come to your neighborhood. The Chinese people come and they want to sell hair weave and all of this different kind of stuff. But guess what? They have a nerve. They have an attitude when you come in there. Now, you want my money, but you don't want to respect me. We need to do something about that. Definitely. Anybody else of any other color. You come into the neighborhoods of black people, but you don't want to respect them. You want to throw money on the counter and all that different. You want to see me cut up. Go to the store with me and let somebody put my item or whatever on the counter, but expect me to give them money in their hand. The whole transaction will go wrong. That's not something I play with. I don't play those things. That's not what I do. If my money is good enough to spend, then I am good enough to be respected. You don't know me. You can't look at me and judge me. That's not going to work. We're not doing that. Because if you feel that way, then stay your ass out of communities where a good bit of your customers will be people of color. I have no business asking you to respect me. None whatsoever. Now, just like the Asian people feel comfortable in their community and they can get their businesses started and whatever, black people, the only people that got to go through all this red tape and the law just to get a loan and all that stuff. It's another thing we need to not do. We need to, the ones who you have these corporate jobs and all of this stuff, put your money into your neighborhood. It's very simple. It's not hard. All of these people who are so smart, you have all these degrees, and I learned this, and I know how to grant writing and all of this different kind of stuff. Everything that you know how to do, guess what? Pass it on to someone else. They have people who want to learn these things. They can't afford college. And let me go ahead and give you a little insight on college. If you really think about it, Black people, we're telling our children, yeah, we just want you to go and you get older and you go to school and you go to college, make something of yourself and get this degree and all this different kind of stuff. But you think about it. You go to college, you get a degree to go start your job. Guess what you're going to start a job with? A mountain of goddamn debt. What fun is that? Wouldn't it be better? Because back in the cut before this colleges, universities, all that stuff came along and all of this tuition and stuff like that, guess what? You wasn't paying no thousands of dollars for school. It wasn't gonna break the bank to go to college and graduate. It wasn't. And let's say before they had all of that. Okay? Here's the thing that I think that people, black people, people of color need to go back to or trying to do really on a large scale. It's called bartering. That means everybody has shoes, socks, clothes, whatever, uh, lawn care equipment, whatever. I'm sure you got stuff in your garage because I do too. Tires, whatever. Things that you're not using and you just want to throw out or pitch out or just talking about, oh, I'm going to give to Goodwill. Don't give that to Goodwill. Barter. Find someone else. Matter of fact, I'm going to help y'all out. Stay tuned. I'm going to get it all together. We're going to be a self-sufficient people. Trust me. I also have a suggestion. Let's start looking into this term called metaphysics. We need to look into that. So we can know we've gotten away from knowing who we are. We are, by nature, spiritual people. We are not who they keep telling us we are. We are not people to be filling prisons and jails and savages. We're not those people. And don't cater to that. Love each other because that is really who we are. We are the smartest people around. If we weren't that smart, they wouldn't be killing and stealing things from us. That speaks volumes. We should have learned a lesson to a degree from the natives. They had reservations. Guess what? The reservations are thriving with their casinos and everything else. Guess who runs the reservations? The elders. The government can't go running onto a reservation and tell those people what to do because they're out of jurisdiction. They can't do it. Something we as a people should have caught on to. We can regulate our own selves. We do not need to keep trying to follow and get under these group of people. I don't care what nobody's talking about. At the end of the day, European people as well as Arab people had put African Americans or people of color in slavery. They are still doing it today. Why is it so hard for us, people as color, to gather together to end this foolishness and stay to ourselves? We do not need people of any other race or descent to take and govern us. We are quite capable of governing ourselves. I don't have a problem with going back to Africa. Personally, I don't know if that's where we originated from or not. That to me personally is not important as knowing that Africa is the only continent that's self-sustaining. So why wouldn't I want to be there? Africa is probably 5 to 10 times bigger than the United States. Why would I want to stay here? Because everything that they have here, what they don't have over there, I can take and bring my knowledge over there. There's no need for me to really be here. I mean, what are people striving to stay here for? Because yes, there's problems and issues and stuff everywhere you go, but guess what? I would rather be around some people that look like me. And that's just me. And that might sound crazy and whatever the deal is, and I'm like, again, at the beginning of this video I said I'm not trying to convince people. I'm not trying to change nobody's mind or anything like that. These are my opinions and my opinions only. I don't need anyone to agree with me because I can agree to disagree and I'm good. But really, we need to do better as a people. We need to start being more patient with each other, more giving, more loving, more kind, more understanding to each other. We need therapy to heal ourselves, and we don't need it from others who have no idea what our people have endured. We, meaning people that, I'll give you for example, I'm originally from New Orleans. I moved or relocated following Katrina. They were referring to us as refugees and foolishness that doesn't make sense. And it's like, okay, you're in America. What is going on? So yeah, being black, it's a toll. It's taxing. But if I can't take comfort or can't find comfort and protection and solitude within or around my own people, there is a problem. And that is the problem. We have to stand for ourselves. We can't take up other people's issues. It's not important to me. The gay issue is not important to me because that's gay is a lifestyle, and if that's what you want to do, that's your business. That's a choice you're choosing to make. That's your business. Being black, it's not a choice. It's who we are. And when I see more black people fighting for the right to be a black person, I don't have time to take up feminist issues. That's their business. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not titled is that my one and only most important title is I am black. I am a black woman. I embody everything that comes with being a black woman. That's who I am. Everything else falls by the wayside and is not important to me. Is not. And my suggestion is that most black people realize at the bottom basics of existence, you're black. That's what anybody sees. I wouldn't give a damn if you have $1,000 three-piece suit on as a man. They don't care. You're black. That's what they see. That's who they're arresting, your blackness. You don't have time to talk about you're a dean of colleges over at such and such university because that's unimportant. You're a black man. If you're black, and I wouldn't care if you're a cross dresser, trans dresser, moving around the dresser, whatever. You're black first. You're going to always be. I don't care if you're a police officer. Guess what? You're black first. You are who you were born as. Black. Color does matter. And y'all can keep trying to dodge it or act like though that's not true. It is true. It's very true. That's why this color makes up the prison population. If color didn't matter, we would be in a whole lot better situation than what we are now. We have a history of trauma that nobody's tried to resolve or give therapy to us. So yeah, we screwed up, messed up, mental illness and all of that. Yes, that's not the new. Yeah, we kind of don't want to admit it or what have you. But you got to. You have to. Because that's exactly what it is. There's no way around it. My people, my people. Love y'all to life. And we will. This is our year. We going to get everything together. We will get it together. And we will love. We will love each other. Because that's what we're supposed to do. When we see one of us in pain or in hurt, we're supposed to help. We're obligated to do it. And that's what's up. And that's what we're going to do. Thank y'all for listening to my video. And I'll be back with some more tomorrow. Peace. Love y'all.